Hello. So, fussy eaters. There are lots of reasons why our dogs might not want to eat what we're offering them. It can be a learned behaviour and an association that they've made. It might be that they just don't like it, or that there are other things going on which are causing them to not want to eat. So one of the first things to check is, are they in any pain? Because that can be a main factor in them not wanting to eat. So check their teeth, check their mouths. Do they have a dietary or digestive upset? It's worth getting a vet just to check them over and check that this isn't a problem, that they're not in pain, because that is a main reason that they can go off their food. Talking of pain, another reason that they might not want their food is that they've caused, or they have, a negative connection in their mind between food or meal times and feeling poorly. So if in the past they've felt very poorly, had a more severe dietary upset, then that can be remembered and they'll make that link between the food, or even things like the bowl or where they're fed from, or the time they're fed, and that feeling poorly. So if that's the case, it's worth completely switching up your dog's feeding routine, using different food, different bowl, everything, just to make it a different experience, that they are not necessarily going to connect with feeling poorly. In terms of learned behaviours, it's something that quite often, because we worry when our dogs aren't eating, we'll offer them kind of tastier and tastier options until they do eat. And that can then mean that they learn that if they don't eat what we first offer them and hold out, then they get better options, or from what they understand, it's something tastier, until you bring out the nicest food that they think they could have. So it's something to be aware of, not to accidentally teach them not to eat by doing that. Equally, sometimes they just don't like the food. So some foods are tastier than other foods, and dogs are individuals, so some dogs won't like certain things. It's also worth checking whether the food is in date. It might have gone out of date or gone off, and that's why they're not wanting to eat it. But in terms of what they're going to like, there's so many different options. So try a different format of food, and try different kind of brands or recipes, and just see if there's something that your dog kind of goes for and gets their attention more than other options. There's also things that you can add to food. So if, for instance, your dog is on a veterinary diet, they're known for not being the most palatable foods. So adding a topper or a dog drink or some kind of broth or palatant to that can be a really good way to make it more interesting for them and more tasty. So they are a few different ideas for reasons that your dog might not be wanting to eat. There are other factors as well. That's not an exhaustive list. So, for example, if you have more than one dog, it could be some kind of pack interaction that they're not able to eat because of what another dog is doing. There are lots of things to consider. But I hope that gives you a little starting point. And of course, remember that your dog might also be full. So if they're not eating, but they've had lots of treats or tidbits throughout the day, maybe they're just full up, because it's easy for us to lose track of how much of an impact these kind of small treats can have when they add up throughout the day. So it's worth just keeping track of that and addressing it if you're finding that treats are more than 10% of their daily food intake. So I hope that's been a useful little whistle-stop tour for fussy eating. Let me know how you get on. Speak to you soon. Thanks. Bye.